I think we're live. What's going on? Welcome to Thursday night Top 5 Base Discussion Live Q&A with your Lake Fork guide. That's this guy. I'm your Lake Fork guide. My name is Billy Lawson. And if you're new here, thank you for joining us very much. We got some giveaways to do tonight. We're going to do giveaways. I'm going to wait till a few people get gathered up here before we do that. We're going to talk about the best baits to use this weekend in Lake Fork and the surrounding areas. And I'm going to answer as many of your questions as I possibly can. Like always, we got some folks popping in. Raging Cajun, Chase Clark, Bobby Spang, Dr. Funk, Jack Attack, Kevin Jones, a lot of the usual suspects. Fred Solis, what's going on, big dog? Rogers Diamond, Dusty Newton, Billy Curley, Justin Boyd, Marcus Fowler, Big John's Life. Man, quite the group joining us tonight. Can't thank each and every one of you guys enough. Appreciate y'all jumping in here on the live interwebs with us, man. It means a lot. JD Atnett, Ronnie Miller, Junior Maccabee. I hope I said that right. Sean Allen. Thank each and every one of you. All right. So we got enough people in here to do this. Let me see what we can do here. Get some stuff open here. Let's see here. This will take me just a minute. Bear with me. I'm pulling up some stuff to do the live giveaways. I've got to get these comments open so that we can see who qualified, as they say, right? And then we're going to do some giveaways. Okay. All right. So for the first giveaway, we're going to do the Facebook version. All right, so I need somebody to give me a number 1 through 48. The lower end would be preferable, but first person to comment a number 1 through 48, that comment is going to be the winner from Facebook. 14 is the first one we got. We got 1, 2, so you guys can see what I'm doing. I'm just scrolling through the comments and counting them as I go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Adam Marshall. Oh. Adam Marshall. That's not going to show up very well on that screen. Adam Marshall is the winner from Facebook. Adam, I will reply to this comment as soon as I'm done with my live stream. Hopefully you're watching this. If you're not, I'll reply to this and you'll get that notification on your face space to send me your contact info so I can send you some great Smash Tech custom baits from the video we did 2 weeks ago. I was supposed to do this last week and I kind of forgot. Shh, don't tell nobody. That's all right, though. All right, so that one's that one. Let's go to the world of the tube of you, if you know what I mean. The old YouTube one here. Let's see. Un momento. Bear with me, por favor. Let's go down here. All right, right there. See how many comments you boys had on YouTube. I'm sure y'all represent, oh my goodness, 107 comments on YouTube. Comment number 1 through 107, first number will be the winner, as they say, or the wiener. Number one is going to be Stephen Terrell. Stephen Terrell, you're going to be the winner. Does that show up? Nope, doesn't show up. It still doesn't work. It's the same as it has been. Stephen Terrell will be the winner for the giveaway on YouTube. I will reply to both of those comments once we're done with the live stream. Awesome. So Stephen Terrell and Adam, I'll have to look it back up. I have it saved on that page though. All right. That is done. I'm sure I've missed a bunch of awesome comments, as you guys always do. Y'all dropping some numbers. What up, play it? D Money. What's up, D Money? I don't even know who you are, but D Money, I like your name and I like your style, if I'm being honest. I do. I really do. Hey, we've kind of got a little bit of a stable weather trend. That's a good thing. We've got some warmer nights. That's a good thing. It's going to cool off a little bit tomorrow. I don't think it's going to put a dent in them too much. I actually spent the first part of this week down at Lake Sam Rayburn. Stay tuned for some big news coming to you guys next week involving the Fish Life app and Sam Rayburn at Toledo Bend. We got a little something going on. Sam Rayburn's awesome, man. I love my time down there. I only got to spend 1 day fishing down there, but oh man, was it hard to leave. Beautiful as I remember when I was a kid. Fish biting in numbers like they always have on that lake. It is a really special place, man. I truly do love Sam Rayburn. I will not be waiting so long to go back. I will be going back soon. I love that place. So on Rayburn, I'll go and tell you, we caught him on a chatterbait. That was the best bait on Sam Rayburn. That doesn't do you guys much good if you're watching from around here, though. I did go out on Fork today, and I don't know what's going on. Every other lake I go to right now, I can catch fish. Power plant, cold water, doesn't matter. It seems like I can catch fish on other lakes pretty good right now. Lake Fork is whipping my tail. And I was a lonely soul out there today. There wasn't hardly any boats at all. I didn't see any other guide vehicles out there or guide trucks in the parking lots. I didn't see any boats on. I literally didn't see hardly any boats on the water at all. Some crappie fishermen and stuff like that, but just almost nobody fishing Lake Fork. And I guess I don't hope that they're struggling the way I struggled today, because I wouldn't wish that on anybody. But for my own sake and my own pride, I kind of hope they are, because, boys, I'm going to tell you, it flat out puzzled me today. I mean, we caught some fish, but nothing worth getting excited about, and not very many of them. And it was really, really, really surprisingly tough on Lake Fork for me. So I'm going to go ahead and give you the best baits, give you the baits we did get some bites on today. Give you the best baits that I think will give you your best chance of catching them. But if you're going to Lake Fork this weekend, just be prepared. I mean, maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm making mistakes, whatever it may be. That has certainly been known to happen plenty of times. But it's fishing, for me, really, really tough as of today. So let's dig into the baits. Movement 80X. When things get tough, I lean on this bait. I grind on this bait. It always seems to come with a bite. It ain't saying much today. The fish wasn't that big, but the biggest bite of the day today did come on this particular bait right here. Of course, this is the same chatterbait we were using down at Sam Rayburn. We did get a bite on this today. 3/8 ounce shad colored chatterbait. Still a good grinded out bait, especially if you're around the limited amount of grass that's on Lake Fork or any of the other lakes. If you have a lake that's got grass, chatterbait is always a good grinded out bait when you have grass. It makes them react when they don't want to bite other things. They also bite it when they're aggressive. It's just, if you guys watch this channel, you know I'm a huge believer in the chatterbait, and nothing different here. It's a great bait to throw almost any time. It's really good to throw right now. Third bait. Going back to this one a little bit, this is the 6 cent stick bait, the 6 cents clout. 5-inch stick bait from 6 Cents Fishing. Changed up the colors a little bit. We had a really, really dark and dreary day today. And so I was throwing the old black light color, a little black and purple. It was the color that we got bit on this today. I don't necessarily think you need to throw this color if it's going to be sunshiny this weekend, which I think it is. If I remember serves me correctly, you're going to have some sun this weekend. You need to throw probably a green something. Green pumpkin, watermelon something, watermelon flake, watermelon red, watermelon blue, whatever have you. It needs to be a green one, not this black and purple one. Oh, blurple as they call it, because this is black and purple with blue flakes. So we're just going to call that blurple. That's the new official name, whether 6 Cents has it on their website as such or not. But just fishing that painstakingly slow, and next to timber was the deal. Not the grass, but next to timber, hard cover was the deal on that. And the other bait that I would approach the shallow water with is going to be a lipless crankbait. Depending on the conditions, today we should have been throwing the Tiger Truce. I brain fart didn't throw it. I stuck with this one. Didn't work out real good. But the lipless crankbait is a bait that I trust when I'm having to grind out bites when the water's in colder temps. The water temps today on Lake Fork were 58 to 60 degrees. Water temps didn't climb as much as I'd hoped they would. I was really anticipating fish being up out of the deep water. Some of those fish pushing back in the shallow water and get more active. Not what I saw. I saw bait doing that. I saw some water. I did find one section of water where the water was 64 degrees. It warmed back up, and there was a lot of bait activity, and we caught a grand total of not a daggum thing back there in that area. So it was a really confusing, puzzling, troublesome struggle of a day today for me personally. Now, offshore. If I'm going to fish offshore right now, you can throw a spoon. A spoon's a good thing to throw, a big flutter spoon to try to get one bite. We did have a guy, again, boy, it's been on a roll here lately with the flutter spoon. We'll get a bite on it, hook up, and lose the fish. That happened again today. Only one bite on the flutter spoon, and a little bit of time that we spent offshore. The Alabama rig, though, I think the Alabama rig is your best bet to get bites of all species. Honestly, everything will bite this thing, but bass of all sizes will bite it. That flutter spoon kind of eliminates a lot of the smaller bass if you're throwing that big spoon. You're really looking for one bite. It's kind of like throwing a big swim bait. You got to commit to it, keep it in your hands, and fish for just a few bites a day, and know that when you do get a bite, it's going to be a giant. But Alabama rig is something that I would 100% have confidence in grinding out deep with as well. Need to try some drop shot action? Boy, you better keep that up there at Broken Bow, son. Yeah, I probably do need. You know what? Today would have been a good day for me to probably throw a drop shot. And us guys that fish every day, we can get set in our ways and hard-headed and revisionist history, I guess you might say. You just kind of fish off of what you know, and I don't know. Today was a troublesome day. It was not a good day for me mentally as far as the way the fishing went. It troubled me. Brandy Branch is back up and running. Seen the snack smoking today. Timmy Rose, thank you for that update, sir. Okay, Brandy Branch has been offline as far as generating heat into the lake. That should fire those fish up real quick. There's another power plant option. We've already got Lake Welch where fish are kind of starting to spawn, and it's fishing real good. Martin Creek is a great lake. It's been fishing pretty good. And now Brandy Branch should start to fish really well. So now we've got 3 power plant lake options in the East Texas area. If you guys are looking for a good place to go fishing this weekend, I highly recommend Brandy Branch. A lot of good grass. Those fish have been cold for a while. That should be a fun party this weekend if they keep that thing running steady, which I imagine they will now that since it's been off for so long. I'm sure they'll probably make up for lost time, so to speak, on the plant operations. Raging Cajun, me and Z-Dub need to get you an LSU Tiger eye flag for the wall. No, sir. No. That is the only team flag that's going on my wall. Texas A&M, baby. That's all it's ever going to be. They ain't very good, but they mine. Whoop. John Boland's trying to tell me he's going to show me the ways of drop shot. You could probably show it to me. It don't mean I'm going to like it any better than I do right now. I mean, I've actually had a guy that showed me how to fish a drop shot, and he'd had great success right in front of me, and I still didn't want to fish the dang drop shot. So, has Fork been updated on Fish Life app, and are you fishing bank shallow or in the middle of pockets? Not fishing bank shallow anymore. It's cool off. I've kind of backed off, and I'm fishing the breaks, the channels, the edges, the outside edges of the grass. The updates will be coming this next week, actually. I think it's next week. Yeah, we're almost to update time, so we'll be doing a full run of updates in the next week or so. So they were updated right around the first week or so in November, but we'll be doing another update right before Thanksgiving, get you guys ready and set up with brand new waypoints for the holiday weekend coming up for Thanksgiving. We'll make sure and do that. So all the packages will be updated then. So that's what's going on Fish Life app as far as updates go. We usually do those right around the first of the month. This with Thanksgiving falling the way it does, we're going to try and do them all right before the Thanksgiving holiday. That is our goal and our intention anyway. How deep am I fishing the rig? Today, most of the fish that I saw grouped up offshore, which I did find some groups of variety species schools, you might say, a mixture of, largemouth and white bass and yellow bass and this typical fall to winter transition stuff. Those fish get all mixed up species and size-wise. That's normal. And we saw those fish in about 18 to 20. One of the road beds that we have marked on the Fish Life, I think it's the only road bed we have marked on the Fish Life app. Road bed was, just as loaded as I've ever seen it in all the years I've ever fished Fork. There was as many different types and numbers of fish on that thing as I've ever seen. And man, we just couldn't really, we caught some multi-species fish, but we couldn't get the green fish to cooperate there. That is where we had the flutter spoon bite and lost it though. So the green ones are definitely there too. So, Yeah, it was that roadbed runs about 18 to 20 foot deep, and it was loaded. Another point not too far from there that we also have marked on the Fish Life app, it had a bunch of fish on it. It's also right around the 20-foot mark, 18-foot mark, somewhere in there. So that seems to be kind of the depth they're hanging at right now. But that can change. Listen, that can change day to day this time of year. So I'm telling you 18 to 20 today. It might be 15 to 17 tomorrow. It might be 22 to 24 tomorrow. You have to keep an open mind and kind of pay attention to what depth those fish are using on a day-to-day this time of year, because they can move up and down. That's one of the advantages of all these pond dams and road beds and points and all. They can move up and down easy as they please and kind of use whatever depth they want to around them, and they will this time of year, depending on light penetration and temperature change and all that. Did Z-Dub get his trolling motor fixed, or is he waiting on Santa to bring him that Ultrex? Well, it's not fixed yet, but I believe it got taken. It's supposed to get taken to the shop at some point this week, maybe today or tomorrow. No, it's not fixed yet, but it's in the process of finding out how much it will cost to get fixed, and then Z-Dub shall take action from there. We don't know where that one's going to fall yet. Nice. Hey, thank you, man. Appreciate the nice hat. You can get these over at sixcentfishing.com. They have these hats. They have a bunch of other hats as well. A lot of good apparel at 6 Cents Fishing. If you... Boy, there's some weird questions coming here. I think we may have some trolls tonight. If you do need to order anything for 6 Cents Fishing, if you find anything over there that you want, be sure when you check out from sixcentfishing.com, you punch in the code Your Lake Fork Guide. You'll get a 10% discount on all orders. Can I find deep fork fish in the same deep places I was finding them in June, July, flat spots, ledges off main lake points? Not really. Not really. Possibly, yeah. I mean, you might find some, but these big mega schools are on pretty specific type structures. They're on the long, narrow, flat points, like the long, super long extending points that are really narrow. They're on road beds. They're on pond dams. Basically, they like these elongated, narrow structures this time of year for whatever reason. I don't really know. But every year, this time of year, they get on that stuff, and that's where they're at better than anything else. A lot, you know, and something else I've been seeing on Fort, man, there's just ungodly amounts of bait just piling up in the creek channels. You know, we're catching a few jig fish in the creek channel, but it's not like real good, and some days we don't catch them at all. But man, there's a ton of shad that has been piled into these creek channels. Now, today they were kind of up and out of them because, you know, warmer weather and all that, but it's been amazing how early a lot of these creek channels just really stacked up with shad this year. That's normally a thing that happens later in the wintertime. Kristen Chiskow. Listen, I don't respond to trolls and haters when they start commenting on here or whatever you want to consider yourself. I don't know what you're doing with this comment right here, but I'm going to respond to this one. Kristen Chiskow says, blacks are not just like us, and they need to be kept away from humans. Some of the very finest human beings that I've ever known in my life were men of color that I served in the United States Marine Corps with, and I'd pay good money to watch you or anybody else get in their face and tell them they deserve to be kept away from humans. Because those little boys can chew you up and spit you out. They won't unless there's a reason, but they can. Some of the finest men I've ever known. I know you're just trolling and you're getting the reaction you want out of me right now, and that's great. But you can kick rocks, and I hope you take a long walk off a short pier. You're a terrible human being. Terrible human being. You're ashamed. You're ashamed of humans. Ain't no room for that with me. Ever. And by the way, you should go ahead and thank them, because those type of people are the only reason you have the right to come on here and act like a complete idiot the way you are. You owe your right to type them stupid words to those black people. You do. Josh Beasley, Wind to 6 Cents, is going to come out with a $100 rod. It's a very competitive price point. They do. The Milliken fishing line is around that price point. They have one already. It's a good rod for that price point too. Very good. Any luck with the Shaky Head as of late? You know, the Shaky Head, here's the deal. I kind of, I was on a road trip earlier this week to Rayburn, and I didn't fish the Shaky Head down there. I was fishing Shaky Head a lot before I left, but it was still cold. And then it got warm when I left, and it was warm for a few days. So today I did not anticipate fishing. I probably should have, because it didn't go well today. But I didn't anticipate, I wasn't planning on fishing those bridge corners and secondary points that I have been fishing when we were getting some Shaky Head bites. And so, probably the way the fish were acting and as cold as the water still was, yeah, that Shaky Head bite's probably still going. And I probably should have caught onto that somewhere through the day and adjusted and made that move. It was also, today was just a miserable day because the weather, it was like raining and misting and foggy. Like, it got so foggy we couldn't move around, and there was a time where I wanted to run and gun and do some other things and try to adjust, and we couldn't navigate the lake. You couldn't see from one buoy marker to the next in the boat lane. You couldn't see boats coming. It just wasn't safe to navigate, so we kind of had to just stick with what we were doing and try and grind them till we find them type deal. And it was an odd day. An odd day on Fork. It was one that, we'll just chalk up to can't win them all, man. Can't win them all. I'll be at Fork for my first time this weekend. Any advice? Man, I don't want to insult you, but literally this entire live stream, or the majority of this live stream, has been nothing but advice for fishing Lake Fork this weekend. It's a fishing tough for me right now. All these baits that I've listed were baits that I recommend you using. I went over shallow water, went over deep water, so the whole thing is how deep am I fishing the Lipless? Pretty shallow, depends on the grass I can find. About the deepest grass I can find is in about 4 foot, 3 to 4 foot. With the lake dropping, the lake is dropping a lot right now is the deal. And so that grass is getting shallower and shallower, so that Lipless crankbait's getting shallower and shallower where we're fishing them. How's Welsh been doing it? Yeah, Welsh is doing extremely well. Welsh is fishing really, really good. Unfortunately, the 2 times we tried to film out there, we did not have the best days. It wasn't the best of circumstances, post-frontal situation and all that. And the fish were kind of getting ready to spawn, but not quite spawning. But it's fishing really good. They should be really kind of getting into that spawn mode now, and you can kind of catch them any way you want to. You can go out there and you can go fish, deeper stuff, especially the discharge. You can fish the discharge and catch them. You can fish some deeper stuff and catch them. You can catch them on swim baits out there. You can catch them probably flipping grass, shallow, spawning fish. You probably catch them on a frog. Like, Welsh is basically fishing like early March right now. Have I messed with any of the Garmin Live Scope? I have once in a customer's boat. And golly, boy, these comments are crazy. Boy, it struck a chord with me. No. These comments are crazy, man. Some of these people just need to get a life. Garmin Live Scope. Yeah, a customer wanted me to run a trip in his boat. He was getting ready to fish a tournament earlier this year, and I think it was for the Sealy tournament, September. And we were running around, and he had a Garmin Live Scope, and he had me turn it on later in the day, and he told me to mess with it, and I started messing with it, and it's legit, man. It shows some crazy stuff. It's a good deal. I'm about to get some Lowrance Lives on my new boat, and I'm really looking forward to seeing, how that compares. I think it's going to be good because Lowrance has always done me right. Always done me right, Lowrance has. So I'm looking forward to seeing what Lowrance Live has to offer as well. Any tips on baits for Lake Falcon in February? I'm not the best guy to ask about Lake Falcon. Anything that I tell you is going to be knowledge I strictly gained from Ronnie Kelly last year. I can tell you this. In February, it's spawning, man. And spawning bass are spawning bass. You can always catch spawning bass flipping shallow cover. You can always catch spawning bass on swim baits, shallow diving crankbaits. You could probably catch some smaller ones and some numbers on weightless plastics. But I would, at Lake Falcon, I'd have a jig tied on and flip shallow bushes with jigs. And I would have a swim bait like the Poacher tied on. The Poacher did a lot of good for Ronnie last year in February. And I would have always, when you go to Falcon, you always have a crankbait tied on. And in that time of year, I would have, like a big 2.5 or the Crush 200X 6-cent square bill is the one I would actually have tied on. Maybe even the Mini Mag 3.8. That would be a good one to have tied on down at Falcon in February. Also a big spinnerbait. If the lake happens to get high and kind of flood some cover, then a spinnerbait is always the deal on Falcon. That's pretty much, that'd be my arsenal for Falcon right there. And the main thing is don't get too far back into some of these creeks. Well, that's not true. Fish the drains, the depth changes. The subtle depth changes within the shallow water pockets and stuff, that's what you want to concentrate on Falcon. For me. Am I going to do top 5 baits on Thanksgiving? You know it, baby. I'm dedicated, man. You guys are so important to me. I try not to let anything stand in the way. Family does come first. But I will be doing top 5 baits Thanksgiving night. Absolutely. Would you ever do your play waypoints 2 weeks behind, not a month? I don't know what that means exactly. Like, would I update them every 2 weeks instead of every month? Well, I do. When patterns significantly change and I know something's changed, I change the waypoints in real time. If I think the spot isn't any good, if I think the waypoints aren't any good anymore, I take them off and put something else on there. We don't only change them once a month. We change them at a minimum of once a month, and usually we're pretty good on that, and the spots are pretty good for the month most of the time. But there are times when we change them inside the month, in the middle. Like in May, we changed them like 3 times in May, made little adjustments here and there, pulled this couple waypoints off, added a couple more, pulled 2 or 3 more. So we try to keep that thing as real-time updated as possible. Basically, when you go open it today, that's my best bet on what you can do to catch fish on Lake Fork. That's how we try to make it operate. It's not always easy. It's not the easiest thing to predict things. And the deal is, I'm going out there and marking these spots, fishing them the way that I fish them, and they're working for me. And sometimes people get on them and maybe they don't work for them, but I know this. People get on them and they work an awful lot of the time because I've seen an awful lot of big pictures of pictures of big fish sent into us this year. So. Tell you what, guys, we're going to wrap it up pretty soon, but before we do, I got to do something first. Not that these people making these comments matter in the least bit. He says you're welcome. He says you're welcome. And he says you're welcome. That right there is 3 men that you could never hope to be the same quality of person as. I can't hope to be the same quality of person as. That is what the best of us looks like, fellas. And these people that are saying these things, I know they don't even mean it, but that's the best of us. And there's all colors in that group right there. That's a Puerto Rican from New York. That's a brother from Georgia. He's also from Georgia. He is from New York. Redneck from North Carolina. Forgot where Weimer's from. That's me. Another boy from Texas right there, and Mason from North Carolina. Those guys are willing still, even after all the crap that y'all are saying, those are the type of men that will still lay down their life for you and do whatever it took to protect you at all costs. That's who they are. They're better than you'll ever be. That's who they are for you people that are making those comments. I don't share a whole lot about my Marine Corps history. It's pretty personal and private to me. I don't really like to get into it. I don't really want thanks for it. I had it real easy, you know. I mean, yeah, I got deployed to Iraq and everything, but I had it really, really, really easy. And if you think I'm doing that to be arrogant about my time in the Marine Corps, that's not it. I'm doing that to prove a point to these people that are making all these crazy comments over here. So don't take that to think that I'm better than most of you. I don't. But these people that are making these comments, those guys are better than them. That's all I'm saying. You know what? I just got to wrap it up, guys. This got me shook. Well, I'm all upset. I got, this is live, so I got to watch what I say. I got to get out of here. All right. Hey, man, for all of you guys that were here for the right reasons, man, thank y'all so much. YouTube really needs to do something about this. This is crazy what these people are saying on here. That shouldn't be allowed to be said. Thank y'all so much, man. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Mean the world. Y'all allow me to do what I do every day. Y'all are the reason that I will be here on Thanksgiving night to do it again. 8:30 p.m. Thursday night, Thanksgiving, we'll be doing a live stream. I always want to give back to you guys as much as I can. I'll reach out to those folks that won the giveaway tonight, and I will see you guys next time right here on your Lake Fork Guide.